Hello, everybody. It's me, English teacher Joe, and I want to welcome you to this next video. I see some people are already showing up. Hi, Leila. It's great to see you. What I'm going to do tonight in this live is I'm going to talk a little bit about articles. A lot of students have trouble with articles, so I'm going to talk about them. So there's and the. So hopefully what I talk about tonight will help people understand how to use them a bit better. Okay? So first off, we use and the with singular countable nouns. Okay? So for example, it could be something like a cookie, or a car, or an elephant, or the house that I live in. Okay? Those are examples of singular countable nouns. Okay? We also use the and no articles when we're talking about, when we use the or no articles when we're talking about plural or non-count nouns. Okay? So plural nouns could be the children. The children are playing in the street. Okay? Or the books on the shelf. That's a plural noun, so we use the. Or we use no article if we're talking about something that's non-count. So for example, truth is a wonderful thing. Or romance can be very exciting. Okay? You can't count romance, right? It's just a non-count thing. All right? I see some more people showing up. It's great to see you. All right? And I'm going to keep going with the little lesson about articles, and then later on we'll do some questions. So here's another example of we use if the topic is new. If you're talking about something, like I read a great book last week. So this is the first time you've heard about this book I'm talking about, so I say I read a great book. It's a new topic. Then the second time we refer to it, we can say the. You can ask, oh, what was the book about? All right? So the first time, it's a. Could be any book. We don't know which book it is. Then we're being more specific, right? You say, oh, what was the book about? The book you were just talking about, okay? We can use, if there's only one, we can use the if there's only one of these things, like the internet, or the sun, all right? Or the president, all right? There's only one, so we say the. Another example of when we use is we're describing something, or we say someone has a job. For example, that is a lovely dress you're wearing. Or Joe is a teacher. Okay? So those are examples of just using a. We also use in sometimes with expressions of frequency. For example, 3 times a week or twice a month. All right? So does anybody out there know any other frequency phrases? So could you tell me, how often do you study English? Some people study English twice a week, once a month. All right? So how often do you study English? Anybody want to write that in the comments? That might be an example with an article in it. For example, I go to movies about once every 2 weeks or twice a month, something like that. Here are some other uses of the word an. So and an are both used for singular countable nouns, But "an" is special. We use it with words that start with vowel sounds. A lot of people say, isn't it just a vowel? Not exactly. It's a vowel sound. It must be a vowel sound. So we would say something like an umbrella. Okay? On a rainy day, you hold an umbrella over your head. An umbrella means it starts with a U-M and it starts with a vowel sound. Is a vowel sound. But another word that starts with U, but it doesn't have a vowel sound, is university. Right? That sounds like it starts with a Y. So we say, I work at a university, not an university. All right? So to use an, it has to be a singular count noun that starts with a vowel sound. All right? An umbrella, an elephant, an elevator, something like that. Okay? With the, we use the when we're talking about something that's very specific, right? Everybody knows what you're talking about. So imagine you're in, I was telling my students today in our classroom, if I said, open the door. Our classroom only has one door. So if I say, open the door, we all know which door I mean. Okay? If I said, turn on the computer, our class has one computer. So it's up at the front. We'd have to turn on that one computer. So the computer. Another example of how the difference is with a. So in my class, there are how many chairs? There's 19 chairs, 19 seats. So if I ask a student to bring me a chair, that means any chair. Just bring one of the chairs to me. But if I said, bring me the chair, which chair am I talking about, right? So we can't use it that way. We wouldn't say, bring me the chair, unless we said we were very specific about which one. So bring me a chair. But when we say the, we're being very specific. You have to tell us which one. So open the door, that means the door to the classroom. Okay? We also use the before superlatives. So if you say Vancouver is the prettiest city in Canada, some people say. So the prettiest. Prettiest is a superlative. You are the tallest person in my class. The tallest. She is the prettiest girl I know. Right? Again, a superlative. We always use the before superlatives. We also use the before certain countries and oceans, rivers, groups of islands, things like that. So we say the United States, the United Kingdom. But we don't say the Canada. But you can say the country of Canada, the country of Japan. But you don't say the Japan. You could say the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, right? The Amazon River, the Bahamas, the Philippines. Okay, they all use the. We also use the with some fixed time expressions like all the time, some of the time, most of the time, at the same time. Okay, things like that. We use about places and seasons, we use the. So for example, in the countryside, in the city, right? I want to live in the countryside. I used to live in the city. Or we also, for seasons, we say in the summer, in the winter. And with free time activities such as let's go to the movies, let's go to the gym, let's listen to the radio. All right? Okay? But we don't say let's watch the TV. We say just let's watch TV. All right? Now let me talk about things with no article. So I've said before, we use no article with non-count nouns. So love is very important, not the love. Okay? We have no article with meals. I had breakfast this morning. I had lunch with my children. I had dinner a little while ago. I'm going to have a drink. We also have some fixed phrases that have no article about routines, like I usually go home in the evening. I go to bed at this time. I go to work. I go to school. So if you're putting in or the, then it is changing the meaning a little bit. These are just about your routines, what you're doing. We also use no article to talk about most countries or cities or continents or streets. So I went to China last year. I want to go to Africa next year. I have been to Paris before. And his office is on Main Street. Okay? So we use words with no articles there. Okay? So sometimes we use article and the, sometimes no article. So right now I'm gonna give you a sentence that has an article mistake in it, and what I want you to do is try to see if you can come up and tell me what is the mistake. So you could write it in the comments. I'm gonna give you a little minute. But if nobody can think of the answer, I'll just give the answer, okay? So the first one. Do you want to go to movie with me? What's the mistake? Do you want to go to movie with me? There's a mistake there. Do you know what it is? And the mistake is, it should be, do you want to go to a movie with me? All right? Okay, we need the article a there. Do you want to go to a movie with me? Let's try another one. Can you give me an advice? Can you give me an advice? So there's a mistake in that sentence. Do you know what it is? Can you tell? Can you give me an advice? Now wait a little bit. Nobody? The answer is we don't say an with advice. Advice is a non-count noun, so we can't use an. So we would say, can you give me advice? Or usually you'll hear, can you give me some advice? Okay? Let's try another one. I want to buy new shirt. I want to buy new shirt. So there's a mistake in that sentence. Can you tell me where it is? I want to buy new shirt. This one's old. Nobody? The problem is, this one we do need an article because shirt is a countable noun. So I want to buy a new shirt. That would be right. Okay, a new shirt. Okay, let's try another one. We had a good fun at the party. We had a good fun at the party. So there's a mistake in that sentence. What is the mistake? We had a good fun at the party. There's an article mistake, and it is, we don't say a good fun. We would just say, we had good fun at the party, because fun is a non-count noun, right? So we don't put in front of it. We had good fun, all right? We had good fun at the party, okay? I see some people are writing comments and asking questions. I'm just going to finish these article things and then I'll give you some advice about how to speak English very well. Here's another one. I want to go to a countryside. I want to go to a countryside. Now, there's a mistake in that sentence. Can you tell me what the mistake is? I want to go to a countryside. And the mistake is we don't say a countryside. We say the countryside. Okay? I want to go to the countryside. That means you want to go out into the countryside and enjoy the fresh air. Let's try a few more. I hope we have good weather on weekend. I hope we have good weather on weekend. There's a mistake. There's an article missing from this one. Can you guess what it is? I hope we have good weather on weekend. And the mistake is, I hope we have good weather on the weekend. I hope we have good weather on the weekend. Another one. If you have problem, call me. If you have problem, call me. So what is the article problem there? There's an article mistake. It's missing. Can you guess? It should be, if you have a problem, call me. If you have a problem, because problems, they are countable nouns, right? So a problem. If you have a problem, call me. I just got a few more. I was in a shock for a few days. I was in a shock for a few days. So this one has an article, but it shouldn't. I was in shock for a few days. So if you are in shock, that means something has happened that has really kind of made your mind go a little bit crazy, and you can't think correctly for a little while. So you're in shock. So it says, I was in shock for a few days. Now, next one. My brother is engineer. My brother is engineer. So this is a job. Talking about a job, we use the article a in front of it, or an if it starts with a vowel sound. This one does. So my brother is an engineer. My brother is an engineer. An engineer. Here's a last mistake. See if you can catch it. Please visit us if you have a time. Please visit us if you have a time. Please visit us if you have a time. All right? This one, you don't need the article a. So you would just say, please visit us if you have time. All right? So that's the end of the article lesson. All right? We've done about 19 minutes on articles. Maybe that's enough. Maybe people have headaches now about articles. So I saw in the comments earlier, somebody asked, hey Joe, what's a way to get better at speaking? So I want to answer that now. My best advice on how to get better at speaking is, thank you Silas, here's your answer to the how to speak English very well. So the best way to get better at speaking English is you have to practice speaking with partners as much as you can, all right? As often as you can. So every Saturday, I make a post on my Instagram page to get people together, right, to find speaking partners, because there's people from all over the world on my Instagram page, and you want to practice, just get together and practice online. You can practice on Instagram. You can do Skype calls back and forth, FaceTime, whatever you want to do. There's many ways to connect on the internet nowadays. If you just get yourself a partner, and then you can practice. Better yet, get lots of partners, right? Get 5 or 10 partners, right? And then you can always have a different person to talk to with a different accent from around the world. All right? Okay, we're winding down now, I think. Does anybody else have any other comments that you want to say? One thing that I wanted to mention is that once I post this on YouTube, if you're interested in extra lessons or extra help, you can check that out in the notes below this video, and you'll see links to how I help other people learn English. All right, so check those out, and you can click on the links and see where it takes you, and hopefully that'll help you. All right, so I think that's it for tonight. It's not a long live session, but it was hastily put together. I wanted to talk a little bit about articles, and we did. I hope that was helpful, and I hope I see you again next time. Bye-bye.